sent it to live. Okay. We are live, folks. Hello, everybody. I am Ansem571, your host and play-by-play, with my co-host, Randomonium. That was awesome. So this is the second semifinal match for the Shuriman division for Ravenous Kumquats and Kamikaze Penguins. Both teams were pretty even during the regular season. They actually went 1-1 against each other. So this will be a pretty interesting match. Uh, both players will actually be playing some new picks, and we actually even have a substitute for Ravenous Kumquats. I believe for the first game. I do not know. It is Mystic Wav is subbing in for Tribox, and I'll let Randomonium break down a little bit before we get going.
Yeah, so I think that the sub will be pretty important because Always Gonna Game is a really strong jungler, and he tends to be one of the primary ways that they're able to get the victory. They really play around Mansford a lot, and yeah, really interesting to see the top lane matchup. It's the Malphite and the Renekton. Neither of those top laners play those champions that often, so it'll be interesting to see who is able to get the advantage in champions who don't play that often. But it seems like they're really putting a lot of tools in the Asuv basket on the Tristana. They've got multiple tanks with the Vigar. Obviously, Vigar has some great scaling, but it looks like they really want to protect him. So yeah, I'm down to start the game if you are.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and transition us into the game. And we will go in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so, I actually haven't seen Archangel playing Malphite. That should be interesting to see him try and pull that out here. It is
Yeah,
a
I
good...
don't see.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't see that many games on Malphite on him. He usually plays. I mean, he's actually pretty good with tanks. It seems like so. I guess
Oh,
that skills.
Volibear didn't pick up items.
Oh, that's a great point. There is the invade coming
Oh,
in.
but he did get the hook onto
Ooh,
the Mega Average. Flash for flash, but now the Volibear is caught. He doesn't have items. He's going to go down really fast here.
they popped the
Malphite
passive
was
on
on the
Volibear.
Personally, I do not agree with that invade. You have limited crowd control into a Nautilus Sejuani. That's just asking for at least somebody to get locked down really easily. But
Mm-hmm.
I digress. They did get out. Nobody died. Just a few flashes burned.
Yeah, so it looks like 2 flashes burned on both sides. They did also pop the passive on the Volibear, which can be very useful for that first gank.
But he did get to go back and buy some items this time around, so maybe it'll be a little bit easier this time.
Mm-hmm. Both junglers starting bot side, so there will be a potential contest in top side river. Volibear does have more power than the Sejuani, but if the Renekton is able to get lane priority, he could rotate down to help the Sejuani pick up the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the pro draft because the link is currently unavailable. But Malphite is, I guess, an acceptable option as an alternative. Oh, but before that, Nautilus does hook the Blitzcrank, does go in. For Malphite into Renekton, it's also like a sort of similar option with Ornn into Renekton, as we saw in today's pro play games. If you haven't watched, go and check those out. It's the idea is just to make so that way, though Renekton can get strong in the lane, he's not going to be as strong because he can't bully out as hard a Malphite.
Yeah, and as far as the bot lane is concerned, actually Nautilus is one of my favorite counters in the Blitzcrank because Nautilus just got more fighting power. He's got more damage than the Blitzcrank does usually. And then the Tristana went for a Dorn Shield as opposed to the Dorn Blade for Kai'Sa.
And also, I feel like the Nautilus hook is a little bit faster than the Blitzcrank hook. But it costs a lot less mana too.
Yep.
So it's though the Blitzcrank hook is more deadly if it lands, the Nautilus hook is more efficient.
Yeah, and I think the Nautilus hook is also on a lower cooldown as well.
Yes, by like a couple seconds. It's negligible for laning phase, but post laning phase it's noticeable. Yeah, so looking around, the Volibear actually did get the top lane scuttle.
Yeah, it looks like no contest. He had a pretty fast clear.
Still down a bit of gold already in these first couple of minutes, but that is primarily from the top lane. Ooh, missed that hook there. So that's that. As a now support player, that's one of the things that's like really bad for playing with Blitzcrank. That kind of why I stay away from him. Like if you miss your hook, you almost become a non-factor of a champion.
Yeah, you really have to play around that cooldown.
Yeah, especially with how much mana it takes away from you in early game. For it to take away a third of your mana this early and not get anything out of it is just huge.
So Renekton's doing a really good job bullying out this Malphite right now. He's got about double the CS.
A little over now, but yeah, and he's got a big wave pushing into him too. So yeah, like the idea with the Malphite is just I have enough armor to not care eventually. But right now, when you have 0 armor. See, and that's the thing that I just mentioned earlier with the Blitzcrank hook. If you ever miss your hook, you don't have anything else. Whereas with the Nautilus, if he misses his hook, here he still has his passive for the root, his E for the slow, and level 6, he has the ultimate. Blitzcrank doesn't have that many options. So it's a very hit or miss champion, quite literally.
Yeah, and a straight up, fight, Nautilus definitely wins. The advantage of the Blitzcrank is playing around the Fog of War.
And the
so
fact
yeah, it's going to be really...
And the fact that with the pull, it also brings them to you. But have a gank down in the bottom lane. Sejuani does get the Q onto the Blitzcrank, does force the flash. Blitz cannot land the hook to retaliate. The Nautilus kind of used his hook a little bit early there. He could have waited until the Sejuani landed the knockup to guarantee the hook.
Yeah, that's a really good point. He went for that max range hook onto the Tristana and just barely missed.
Yeah,
but once that hook misses, it's very risky to continue going forward because if the Blitzcrank landed that hook, then Sejuani would have been under tower and no way to help her.
Yeah, and she would have been forced to flash. So, luckily that it went that way. Like as bad of a situation that's looked like it could have been, it didn't go as bad as it could have. So yeah, like we need to see more of these hooks landing for both of these carries to really start putting pressure in the lane. Because neither of them really landed anything. But with that said, Ravenous Kumquats will have the lead in the early game with that Ocean Drake too. So Malphite's going to have an even harder time with that. Did go for a Bramble Vest into the Renekton, which is actually, in my opinion, better than Bami's right now, because you don't want to push this lane out any more than you already are. You want to keep it as close to your tower as possible and farm as much as you can.
Yeah, I actually like the Bramble Vest pickup because it will cut some of the sustain of the Renekton and make those trades a little bit less one-sided.
Yep. And he's able to keep it pushed out a little bit for the lane. Unfortunately, though, he doesn't have much health. I want to see, did he go with... Yes, he did go Overgrowth. So that'll be keeping his health up a bit. Volibear did take the second blue. I do not agree with that.
Yeah, typically you'd like to give that over to the mid laner.
Especially a Vhagar. Like, you want him to get scaling as fast as you can.
Hmm.
Especially since he's down a lost chapter to the Orianna.
Yeah, so we see CS leads in pretty much every single lane um, on the side of Ravenous Kumquats. But so
Yeah.
far, there hasn't been that much interaction between the junglers and ganking, which I think favors actually the Sejuani because Volibear will eventually drop off.
Yep. And now, so of all the hook champions, because they are in pro play. Oh, hold that thought. Vhagar did get locked up by the Sejuani. Did manage to get out, but TP coming in for the Malphite. Malphite would have flash ult onto them. Vhagar getting first blood onto the Sejuani and getting a red buff. The Orianna does have to flash to get away, so 1 for 0. But that's horrible news for the side of Kumquats. They were winning the early game really well. They're still ahead, but that just cut them down by a lot.
Yeah, great TP play from Archangel to basically come down and punish that first gank from the Sejuani. The Sejuani, again, going a little bit too aggro, winds up going under tower right into the Veigar cage.
Yeah, that was a nice baby cage from Mansford. Got both the Ori and the Sedge trapped in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know if I agree with. So I'm not sure if I agree with the Malphite going with the Glacial on top of the Bramble because now you don't have the health to back the armor you already were building. While
Yeah, that's
yes,
actually a really good point.
while yes, you do have a lot of armor, it doesn't mean anything if you only have 1,000 HP.
Looks like he wants to most likely go either into Frozen Heart or Iceborne. Both are pretty common items on the Malphite.
Yeah, both of them synergize really well for him, especially with the what is it? Oh, did land the knock for the hook into the Tristana, didn't buffer it, but was able to get out still.
So Ravenous Kumquat's able to get the Herald. It goes on to the Renekton. So Renekton can use that to get at least 2 plates.
Alright, there's the Orianna Shockwave. They did catch the Malphite. He's going down, but they did pick up the Renekton in return. And now they're trying to chase after. I'm not sure if this is a good idea or a bad idea. They don't have any ultimates remaining. But they are going to pick up the Sejuani. Maybe? Yes, they do pick up the Sejuani. 2 for 2, so both top and jungle do go down for that. But overall, still, Kumquats, they did get the Herald, so they'll be able to push that into top lane probably and get Renekton roaming.
Yeah, but that's the second time that Kumquats have gone for a play and it's been turned around to basically make either an even or an advantageous play for Kamikaze Penguins. So it seems the Kamikaze Penguins are very good at counterpunching right now.
Yeah, like from what it looks like, it seems that Kumquats have the better overall players, but KP seem to have the better macro play. And as I'm saying that, Renekton ganking in the mid lane, or at least attempting to, Blitzcrank looks like he did get a hook onto the Kai'Sa. Nautilus going in to try and save him. Tristana jumping in, suiciding to try to get the Kai'Sa, but Kai'Sa still had her heal up. And was able to blast everything. Rift Herald does go down. The baby cage did not go out fast enough. They're going to jump onto the Volibear, and it looks like the Volibear may go down, get his passive off. Oh, and he's going to... He did eventually go down to the Orianna, but the Mansford over there, he did actually get the return kill. So again, 1 for 1, but the Shockwave, and Mansford is able to take out the Orianna with his ultimate. Now the Sejuani did clean it up, but the Rift Herald is already down, and that's only a couple plates down.
Yeah, so I think this kind of illustrates your point that it does seem like Kumquats have better players, but Kamikaze Penguins is better with the macro. I definitely think that I would prefer to just drop that Rift Herald in top lane where there'd be no way for them to stop it. but instead they drop in mid and they wind
Oh,
up
and the
being a
Malphite
2-for-2.
did steal the Cloud Drake, and it looks like he may actually get a kill off of it as well. Oh, and so close. He needed one more auto with his W passive going.
Well, good job by the Malphite at least to get the steal.
Yeah, hey, a win's a win, right? Oh, the Volibear flips over the Sejuani. Sejuani is able to go down. That was just poor timing by the Sejuani. She should have just gone ahead as soon as he saw him. Just dash over. It's like you don't need to outplay it. You know that you're going to get out. Just go ahead and do it.
I think Sejuani had already used the Q and it was on cooldown. And it just came off of cooldown again.
Mansberg does use the TP to get to top lane to save it, but mid lane is equally going down. However, there's no more plates to be had with that last one in mid lane going down, so I believe it was 2 plates remaining, 1 plate, and 1 or 2 plates remaining for mid lane, so that's almost 10 plates. But they are able to catch out the Orianna. She's barriered, and unfortunately she can't get away from the slows.
Yeah, I actually think that was a waste of a summoner spell there.
Oh, but they did land. The Kaisa is going in. Nautilus did land the ultimate and the Q onto Blitzcrank, and they do get a return kill for a tower, but it looks like they may actually get a second tower in mid lane. Mansberg dropping everything, and unfortunately Volibear does go down in that trade, but I think they still get this tower in mid lane.
Yeah, so both teams trading all over the map right now.
And I do like the idea from the Renekton to having gone for the Merc trends. Because yes, like, the biggest thing for Renekton is dealing with the crowd control that he'll have to deal with eventually. Oh, Mansberg trying to go in. He does land the stun, but unfortunately he's a little caught out squares. He can't even get his ultimate out because it's still down on cooldown.
Yeah, so we saw that Ravenous Kumquats definitely won the plate battle, but KP is now up 2 towers to 1. And I think it mainly had to do with the macro play that they had.
Yeah, so at this stage, what do you think is going to win? Better players or better macro?
I'll always go with the better macro, especially when these teams are as evenly matched as they are.
Well then, you better be asking Volibear what is he doing top lane farming Krugs, because they're sieging on the bottom lane. Malphite gets the 4-man ultimate. Unfortunately, nobody goes down immediately in the following aftermath. Nautilus does hook a minion to try to get one of them. And nobody dies from that. That was insanely close from both sides, dropping multiple members.
Yeah, but I agree with you. If the Volibear had been there, that would have been actually a couple kills going down on the sides of Kamikaze Penguins.
Yeah, but with that, just a bunch of cooldowns. Oh, Veigar does flash for the Renekton. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get the kill, and everybody is turning on to try to kill him now. He does walk away, but that was a very, very aggressive flash. He probably didn't know the Renekton actually had the that nullifying passive.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the name of it is. The magic shield passive.
Yeah. But yeah, but actually that last fight was kind of interesting because you saw the Malphite go in, and then immediately the Blitzcrank used his ultimate, so you get the knock up into a silence, which is a pretty actually powerful combo, especially if the Veigar is there to follow up with the baby cage.
Yep. Yeah, and Tristana did get a huge amount of damage, but the Veigar wasn't even there for that fight, so it was all on Tristana's IE to just crit them and hope that it actually crits, but didn't crit enough apparently. Alright, everybody's resetting, but the dragon is about to spawn 40 seconds, so currently KP do have vision control.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's really gonna be on the Blitzcrank, playing around that vision control and trying to get an early pick.
So
as Kumquats come in to try and get the tower.
A big thing that I noticed, Malphite does have his teleport, but Renekton doesn't. And as mentioned previously, he did actually end up going for the Iceborne, but 0 health. I just want to cover and see. He has 1,500 health. but he has 350 armor. Like, there comes a point where armor is no longer effective based on the amount of health that you actually have. And this is that point. Malphite does TP in pretty early into the fight for the Baron. Or Baron, Dragon. But it's only a wind, I think, isn't it? Oh, Sejuani misses the ultimate. Renekton dives onto the Tristana, does get her, but also we do have the two tanks in the back line almost killing the Orianna and trying to get the Kai'Sa. Fortunately, the Kai'Sa is able to survive. Renekton is still wreaking havoc on the back line. Blitzcrank is about to fall as well. Just waiting for one more ability to land, and unfortunately, the Nautilus does not land it, but he is able to tank it for the Sejuani to go in and get the kill.
So I think the story of that team fight was Ravenous Kumquats did a great job peeling for their Kai'Sa. Kamikaze Penguins did not. They basically let the Tristana get one shot by the Renekton.
Yeah, like they had Veigar, Tristana, and Renekton, or Veigar, Tristana, and Blitzcrank trying to deal with the Renekton, while the two tanky members were trying to deal with the other four. And while yes, that's good, but Renekton has Shojin first. He's able to be that tank and that carry in the front line this early in. Especially when you don't have any items yourselves, or any armor, besides these couple of cloth armors Blitzcrank has picked up.
Yeah, actually one of the best people to probably deal with this Renekton would actually be the Volibear. The Volibear has enough damage, as well as CC, that he can definitely do a really good job peeling for the Tristana, I think.
Yeah, and if he's able to get his, whatever his push ability is, I can't remember everything.
The roar?
The roar. If he gets that off correctly, it'll actually stop the Renekton from getting his second dash, which is pivotal for him to be able to get in and either kill somebody or get out.
Yep.
Oh, but it looks like they may have caught somebody. They did. They're looking for the Renekton. They do pick him off, it looks like, but Renekton is able to get his ultimate off. Almost takes down the Veigar, down to half health, but are able to still get him, nevertheless. Oh, the Nautilus. So, as mentioned earlier in the game, like, these supports need to land their hooks, because, like, the amount of times that I'm watching these supports missing these abilities, and watching people able to get away almost for free because of it, it's detrimental to their team. But then again, you don't have to land a hook if you use your point-and-click ultimate.
Yeah, that's actually an important point, is that Nautilus has so much crowd control, you don't need to lead with the hook. You can actually go for the more guaranteed CEC with the
Blitzcrank does land the hook and onto the Nautilus, but the Orianna is able to get her shockwave off and obliterates the Tristana. So while kudos to the Blitzcrank for landing a hook, you landed it onto a person you probably shouldn't have.
This is giving some free pushing power to the Renekton. You can see he's going towards bot lane. He's already got a wave pushed in. And
Malphite has to go to top lane because he doesn't have TP, and Renekton can easily join, but at the same time he has to go bot lane because the Renekton's down there.
Yep.
So it's just a lose-lose situation right now just because of the huge desyncs of teleports. However, Volibear proc Righteous Glory did get the Orianna. And Veigar, living on a sliver of health, is able to get away. Flashes to make sure he gets away, and now the Tristana's here. They have an additional carry. They can re-engage, but they choose not to for fear of the Renekton joining in as well.
Yeah, definitely huge props to Mansford to actually stay alive, but still deal a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, I think he was actually the one that got the kill with the ultimate on that Orianna. So, still, like, the Kumquats are still up by 5k gold. I still believe to just purely being overall better, but KP just pulling out as best of like a faker impression as Mansford can, just outplaying his opponents. Sometimes it bites and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be really important if Penguins are going to have a chance. They got to keep this Tristana alive. They cannot let this Renekton access the backline as easily as he did last time.
Yeah, like, well, even then, like, the last time the Tristana died was because the Orianna was able to get her ball onto the Nautilus
Yeah,
that got
that's
hooked
true.
by the Blitzcrank. So you need to be able to either hook the Orianna, because she still doesn't have stopwatch,
Mhm.
or pick the Kaisa and crowd control her to death before she can get her Zonias off.
Yep.
And I don't have my my hangouts muted.
I do think the
Ag.
priority target has to be the Orianna,
Nice.
because the Kai'Sa can always reposition with her ultimate.
Apologize for that, everybody.
So we're in kind of a stalled out map state right now. There is an air drake that's popping up here shortly. I think that Penguins doesn't want to contest. They could instead be going towards top lane, trying to push that out and get top outer tower.
Yeah, so this is just a Windrake. Like, you don't need to be sending all 5 members bottom. Unfortunately, however, KP doesn't know where anybody is. Like, they have decent vision control over the Baron Pit, but they have nothing nearby the dragon. Like, they have this pink ward over by the blue buff, but that's it. Like, they have no vision leading into it otherwise. I have a question. What do you think about Nautilus getting... What is that? I think that looks like a dead man's?
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for like hyper fast Nautilus to try and initiate fights.
Yeah, like how do you feel about supports building like these highly expensive items like this?
I actually don't like it, and the other reason why I don't like it is the Deadman's is actually not very gold efficient. If you actually look at the actual base stats it gives, it's not gold efficient at all. Like, you really have to make use of the increased movement speed that you get from it. I
And he
think it would
already
be
has
much better to
mobility
go
boost.
for, yeah, to go for, if you want to go for more mobility, go for a Righteous Glory. It's kind of a cheaper alternative to the Deadman's.
Plus it gives you other stats besides health and armor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, looks like they're looking around, trying to see what they can find. Blitzcrank is primed and ready to hook. Can he land a hook, though? That's the question. Neither support has had a very high accuracy rating on their hooks this game thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Point and click abilities, however, like the silence or the Nautilus ultimate, I cannot remember their names. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm a support main now, and I still don't know everybody's names of their abilities. But and it also looks like, as mentioned, with the Nautilus going dead man's, Blitzcrank is going Frozen Heart. Gotta say, I don't agree with that either. But it looks like Arcade does start up the Baron, bringing it down below 10,000 now. Volibear has to space check, does run into the Renekton. He doesn't do anything, but they are able to push them away.
They don't have vision. Oh, actually, they just dropped
They dropped a few wards
another
in there.
ward in order to see again, but they still the vision ward still stands, so that vision's gonna be denied.
Yeah, like it'll give like the little sparkle effects on the Baron. Oh, they did land the hook onto the Malphite, but nothing will come of that. And now the Aftershock, Renekton. Oh, the Sejuani does ult in. Malphite does try to ult in. Both the tanks are in the back line, but unfortunately, they're unable to get anything. Renekton, however, tries to jump into the front. Blitzcrank actually does land the hook, but they are unable to get anything else. They do have both top laners drop and have flashes burned for both sides.
It's insane how tanky this Renekton is, even though he's going Spear or Shojin into Hex Drinker. That's like insane how long he was able to survive.
KP doesn't
he
have
survived
the HP.
longer. Yeah, he survived longer than the Malphite and the Volibear.
Yeah, hold up. Volibear does have his smite still. He can potentially seal this. They have to be very careful. Volibear does get the hook, and they bolt him into the baby cage. Veigar obliterates him, and Tristan is able to get out. Volibear still wrecking onto the back line with the Nautilus and Orianna. Malphite is able to TP in as well. Renekton is still trying to come back alive and is able to come out now, but it's too late for him to TP in. They are able to take out Ravenous Kumquats, still down 2,500 gold.
Yeah, I don't think they can go for this Baron. They can
But they're
try for it,
trying
but it's
for it.
risky.
Orianna still has her ultimate and is able to just obliterate the, oh, the baby kid was still up and they kill her instantly. No questions asked. Blitzcrank is now landing 2 critical hooks, one onto the Kaisa, the second now onto the Orianna.
And Renekton is able to get them off the Baron, so they get one more pick onto Orianna.
Oh boy, what a...
However, they
It's
did.
getting a little interesting now. So,
Yeah.
while I did say at the beginning, Ravenous Kumquats, they have the better players, but KP has the better macro. Well, Mareep on the Blitzcrank learned how to land a hook, and it's actually really working well for them now. Like, got the Renekton to be stopped from killing Mansberg and Asa. Was able to pull both the Kaisa and the Orianna into the baby cage, and it's working now.
Yeah, that's a pretty deadly combo, being able to actually pull somebody into the baby cage.
Yeah, so now they're getting their items. They're actually getting closer and closer to that equal footing. Kaisa still at 3.5, almost 4 full items since the Tristana's 2.5. But Ravenous Kumquats, they still have global pressure. They are still in command of this game, but they need to play their fights more better. Oh, the Nautilus did get his ultimate onto the Tristana, but the baby cage is able to stop any other form of progression.
Yeah, one thing that I've been noticing is that they're actually doing a much better job trying to protect this Tristana as well. It seems like they identified that they need to keep the Tristana alive. They need to peel a little bit more for her, and she hasn't gotten blown up since those first 2 times she's got blown up early in the game.
Yep. Yeah. Well, she also has the Phantom Dancer to give her a little bit of an extra shield while everybody's trying to refocus on, okay, where's Tristana in the fight? Okay, here's Tristana in the fight. Protect.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually probably a really smart buy since they know that the Renekton's going to want to dive onto the Tristana.
Yeah, rather than the standard static or RFC. But RK does start up the Baron. They do. They're doing it on Vision, and they don't have a pink board. Nobody has it other than the Renekton, and the Renekton is on the other side, and he just places pink ward in the bush. They have no way of clearing this Vision other than the Nautilus sweeper, and he's just not using it.
Yeah, so they definitely tried to skip a few steps, trying to go for that Baron. You need to be pushing out lanes, getting vision control.
Like, so they did the top lane, which is correct, but Nautilus a little out of sorts here. He does have double ocean, so he'll be able to heal up just fine. That would have actually been a good hook for the Blitzcrank to try to go for. Because he'd already been locked up by the baby cage, he would not be stopped going through it again. Oh, Polar Bear propped him to righteous glory. He's going. Oh, Malphite does whip it, but so did the Orianna's ultimate. Kaisa does go in. Polar Bear does go down. Renekton onto the Zygar. Kaisa is able to get out of there. Maybe? Yes, she is. And Tristana just charging straight at the Kaisa. It's like, I will get you or I will die trying. Oh, I died.
So that was actually a really good call from the Volibear to realize that the Kaisa and the Orianna were split off from the rest of their team. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of follow-up, and Kaisa and Orianna were able to stall long enough with their abilities for the rest of their team to come and save. Yeah.
With that, RK will grow into the lead, 5k gold now, and Baron buff. They still have the inner towers out there, but they're probably going to be able to drop this first one. Kaisa running for her life now. Blitzcrank looking for the hook. Unfortunately, the big wolf is just a little too big for him.
Yeah, Big Wolf is definitely on blue side this time around.
Oh, that just reminds me of the Cloud9 blue buff last year at Worlds.
Yep.
That's just a feels bad, man. But to this game though, KP were doing a really good job, but still, this Kaisa is huge. She now has 4 full completed items plus boots and is now working on her 5th. Tristana, she still is trying to work on her 3rd.
Yeah, I'm guessing that the Kaizen may be going towards. It's kind of hard to guess just off the BF sword, but
BF
either
sword.
a GA or an Infinity Edge or something.
Though I feel like a GA would be overkill with how much they're throwing at her. I don't think it would be. But they are doing their due diligence. Unfortunately, however, they're not paying attention to their bottom lane, which is getting crashed onto their tower. So that's a lot of farm and a lot of pressure that they're losing that they're just not going to have to spare in the power play.
Yep. So they're giving up a lot of CS and gold.
Oh wait, Kaisa got chunked. What?
That was 1 W from the Vigard.
Oh, Polar Bear does get onto the Orianna. The Kaisa cannot fight in this anymore. They're 4v5. Sejuani does land the ultimate, but the baby cage saves Tristana again. And it looks like they may actually kill the Renekton. Malphite kills the Kaisa. She didn't finish the back. They're charging straight at Ravenous Kumquats, and they're able to get 3 off of that for 0. That was a huge play. Oh, and the Blitzcrank flash hooks onto the Orianna. Wow, that was as big of a play as you needed from the side of KP to push back against what looked like a near game-winning push. But with the Kaisa being chunked out as early as she was, she couldn't do anything in the fight. She had to just back, and everybody just say, okay, we're good, we'll just back, fuck it, we're done. But they, unfortunately, now they're going to lose an inhibitor tower, and maybe even an inhibitor. The Kaisa's up in 3, but they can't really defend against it.
And this also unlocks the Infernal Drake.
Oh, that's the 6th Drake of the game. They have to get this Drake. Renekton's TPing in to the banana bush. They don't have any vision. Now they do. Renekton goes for the Veigar, immediately stopwatches. He is wreaking havoc onto the backline, but unfortunately they can't kill him. The Tristana is just free firing. She hasn't dropped much HP since she came back out here. And they're just charging in one after the other. Orianna does get a nice shockwave, but it mostly dealt damage to only the tanks, and they don't take damage. So
yep, so great job just peeling for Asu again.
Yeah, the Renekton, it was a good choice to go for the Veigar. Unfortunately, he couldn't get his stun out fast enough to the Zhonya's proc. So with that, you just have a huge swing for KP now. While yes, the gold lead and the dragon count still favors Kumquats, it's becoming less and less of a problem now. Because you have the Infernal, you have your carries are getting their items finally. Asa realizes, okay, I'm probably going to be a target as well. I'm getting a stopwatch. I want to make sure I can get out of this.
Yeah, that's probably a smart call. I definitely got to give Mansberg a ton of credit. He was able to get that Kaisa out of that fight. It seems like a long time ago now. And then Kumquats continued to try to go forward, and
they just
Penguins did a great job. Just did a great job, just like winning the 4v5, and that translated into so many objectives for them.
Yeah, so with that huge swing, also the Malphite ended up getting gargoyles. So now he's going to have like something like 1,000 armor when he pops that, probably. And when he hits his W, and obviously the gauntlet on top of that, it's just going to be huge. Yeah, like this will probably be one of the biggest Iceborne Gauntlet procs I'll see in any game, I think.
Yeah, that'll actually allow them to set the baby cage pretty easily with how many slows they have with the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah, with the Iceborne Gauntlet and just the natural Q from Malphite. And also, that's something that people don't take into consideration all that much, is not just the speed up that Malphite gets from his Q, the reduced slow that he also gets onto his opponents. Like, the amount of movement speed that you need, especially when they have double Windrake, you take those stats from them.
Yep, very true.
Oh, does land it onto the Renekton. Unfortunately, they're making it a bounce house. Renekton does ult off, but he is able to walk away. The Volibear is going in, but he doesn't have any follow-up. But now in comes the Malphite, does get a knock-up onto the Renekton and the Sejuani. Orianna does ultimate onto them. The Renekton does go down, and so does the Sejuani. And now it's a 3v5 with the Nautilus and the Orianna not having their ultimate. So this is going to be a Baron for KP. This is the turning point now. Like, they can actually just siege and end it.
Yeah, so a second major team fight where the Kai'Sa was not in the fight. And that's how KP is getting these advantages. The Kai'Sa, who has all the gold, is not in these fights. And KP's doing a really good job taking advantage of it.
Alright, Asav, what is that BF, or that, oh, he's selling the stopwatch. And is trying to go for a BF sword. He's going for Bloodthirster, but he doesn't have the full component, so he's just sold the stopwatch, which I feel is more important than the BF sword. Because, like, you have the Renekton, the Sejuani, like, you don't have any form of removing crowd control, because Blitzcrank didn't go Mikhail's, you don't have Cleanse, you don't have QSS. They can knock you up, they can still get to you.
High risk, high reward. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, the Blitzcrank did go for the Knight's Vow now with the Frozen card, so he's able to at least reduce some of the damage that Asav takes. It doesn't look like he's procced it onto him, though. He may have...
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised that the Nautilus is not good for more utility items. We don't see the Locket or anything like that.
You don't see Locket. You win Adaptive Helm. Like, that does nothing in this game. Sejuani does whiff the ultimate. Blitzcrank looks for the flash hook, but unfortunately misses. Just big misses all around. But Veigar does land the baby cage. Tristana is able to get out of the Renekton. Blitzcrank does ultimate. Veigar looks like he's going down. It's a huge shockwave onto all the tanks, but Tristana is still left untouched in the fight. Tristana is going into the backline to try and deal with the Sejuani while the tanks are dealing with the frontliners. Tristana is now able to rejoin them, but what more is she able to do? Tristana, what are you doing? You just jumped onto a Renekton. Oi, what a crazy fight. Okay, so for those of you to recap, abilities were used, cooldowns were expended, and people died.
Yeah, and I do feel like the Penguins kind of rushed that. They had the mid inhibitor down. If they just stalled out a little bit longer, they could have created two lanes with pressure.
Triss is looking for this Orianna, but she should just back at this point. Like, I think she has enough for BFs or the Bloodthirster.
If not, then just start taking jungle camps. Like, take wolves, take raptors.
Yeah, she just passed wolves. She keeps going back. She's now walking towards the Renekton. She may be in trouble here. Ooh, oh no! Oh.
Just barely gets away.
Okay, Tristana, please don't do that again. that was so unbelievably close that should never have happened. Now you're down an 80 carry that has been winning you these team fights, so now they're going to have to posture. And you can't really posture against this team. Like, the Kai'Sa is here this time.
Yeah, they just want to stall right now. Just stall.
Malphite is watching for them to see where to go. Just keeping Kai'Sa busy. Renekton gets chunked by the Veigar. Oh, the Orianna Shockwave does get the Veigar and the Triss, but the Malphite is able to kill out the Kai'Sa immediately, and Veigar ults the Nautilus just to clean it up, and that will be game. KP actually has won this game, which I thought that RK was supposed to win this. Like, going through the entire thing, it looked more like KP was going to lose.
Yeah, so that team fight, the Tristana was able to free fire while the Kai'Sa was not able to get a lot of her DPS down.
So I think this came down to the first mistake that RK really made, which was when they were pushing the inner mid tower the first time. they didn't get the Tristana and they continued to dive it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a
Um,
turning point, I think, of the entire game.
and from there they were able to get like 3 or 4 kills.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and that's where it all started snowballing from there. So, kudos to KP for winning game one. Give us just a few minutes and we will get game two underway, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back as soon as I set up that stuff.
Okay. Let's see.
Alright, welcome back everybody. We are going into game two. KP versus Ravenous Kumquats. KP did lead in a very close match against Ravenous Kumquats. Uh, Personally, I thought that Ravenous Kumquats were going to win that for a majority of the game, but a few key picks from Mary Blitzcrank into the baby cage set up the team for success.
Yeah, it looked like it was Kumquat's game to lose, and KP was able to bring it back. They had quite a few key team fights where the Kaiser was out of the fight completely, and that's what allowed them to swing the game in their favor.
Alright, so we will begin game two, KP versus Ravenous Kumquats, blue side, red side. Who's going to take this? Is KP going to get the 2-0, or is Ravenous Kumquats going to make this a 3-game series? Find out in the next few minutes, everybody, with us. Enjoy. In 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so looking at the team comps, we do have the Malphite for Archangel once again, but Mega Average on the Rumble is actually an interesting one. Uh, Mareep and Hero are both on even more different hook champions. So now we've gotten all 4 hook champions in this uh, so far 2-game series.
So to point things out real fast, so always gonna game, he is basically an Amumu one trick, and he's on his one trick champion. So I think he's probably pretty happy in this game. And Mansford has got a ridiculous amount of games on Silas. So even though Silas has gotten nerfed a lot, Mansford is actually really good on him. I've seen him; he's been going towards the electrocute Silas a lot, and it
Hmm.
seems like it gives him enough early game power that he's able to make use of it.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, Mansberg has been willing to like even first pick the Silas on blue side because that's just how confident he is on the pick.
Yeah, he's got more games on Silas than I think all of the champions combined in ranked this season.
Corki may be like the odd one because he did climb to platinum with that, but
Yeah.
I do agree. Silas is, if not first, his second highest ranked champion.
Yeah, just looking at it, he's got 333 games on Silas, 184 on Corki, and then the next most is 44 on Syndra.
And yet people ban his Veigar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Well, Veigar
unfortunately we
just
didn't
like
have the pro draft link again, but Mystic Wab also did end up subbing for game 2, so unfortunately Drybox did not make it for this series, it looks like.
yeah.
Alright, so I had some small like caveats from both supports last game with their hooks, with 2 of the fastest hooks in the game, and they didn't have a really high accuracy. In this game, they have the 2 slowest hooks in the game, but Thresh is a lot more fun to play than Pike, in my opinion, because you can fake where your hook is going.
So Thresh has landed the hook onto Xayah, but Pike went in and it forced the flash out from the Caitlyn.
Asav, hit the minion! No! Yeah, Asav does really enjoy playing the Caitlyn. Looks like Lissandra is able to get out. Amumu flash hook into the Sejuani, and with a few flashes burned, it looks like they're able to get out.
Yes, that was 1 flash for 2 flash on the side of KP, so they're probably good
Oh wait,
for that.
Mansberg is going in. He does get the first blood onto the Sejuani. Double buffs to Silas. This is not looking good for RK. Like last game, RK had a pretty substantial gold lead for the early game, but you do not want a Silas to get ahead early.
Yeah, and that's kind of the surprise of the Silas, is with the electrocute, the amount of burst damage he puts down in the early game is really frightening.
This is actually a really bad matchup for Silas. As you can see, he has to flash out from the Rumble. But also, we didn't get to talk about it. The Pike actually did end up getting another hook onto the Caitlyn, and it forced the heal out. So
Yeah,
now
so both summoners down.
Yeah, so no summoners remaining for her. But unfortunately, they haven't been able to get much of a lead out of it otherwise. Mumu coming in with the lane gank, looking to take down the Rumble, but here comes the Sejuani, and now he's got to get out, but he doesn't have his flash anymore. He's going down.
Yeah, so that was a little bit ambitious from the Mumu. I mean, getting a little bit of chip damage down is good, but definitely overstayed a bit. I think he got baited in a little bit because the Rumble was overheating. So as long as the Rumble was overheating, you can continue that trade. But once the Rumble stops overheating, you got to back off.
Ooh, nice
Ooh!
hook. Nice hook. Wait, he went onto the trap. Oh, but the Caitlyn wanted it too much. Thresh with the flash hook does land the hook, but unfortunately lands on the Sejuani. That doesn't do anything for this one.
That is giving them bot priority, though, if they want to continue trying to shove. But it looks like they're just going to back, use it for a reset.
And once again, Archangel's kind of getting a little bit of a beating in this lane. He is doing better than he did against the Renekton. From what I remember, it was like 30 to 14. Here it's just down by a wave, so it's definitely much more doable this time around.
Yep, for sure.
The Mansfer, he is not liking this matchup into Rumble. He's taking a bit beating.
Yeah, but I think he's playing it right. He's trying to roam as often as he can and trying to get an advantage. Since he knows he's not going to be able to beat the Rumble in a 1v1, he's just trying to get advantages in other lanes.
He's trying to. He's trying, man. But that is still a good ultimate for Mansberg to steal when he hits 6. But Rumble does get 6 first. Does try to land the ultimate, but wait, Mansberg, why are you going back in, my dude? Ooh, that was close. That
Yeah, that was close.
if the Rumble had his Ignite up, which should be up in about 10-15 seconds, that was a kill on Mansberg.
Yeah, he's being really greedy, staying around.
Okay,
Both junglers are here.
So I just can never tell. Can you ever see that little like animation for Sejuani onto a melee if the Sejuani is out of vision?
I don't believe you can. Ooh, good escape by always in the game.
He does have to forfeit the red buff, but I would rather take me not dying than forfeiting the red buff. Mary was doing really good on this Thresh. Great play onto it. A lot better than the Blitzcrank of old.
Good job by the Mumu to basically
flash
take that.
hooks, but doesn't get even close. A little ambitious there.
Yeah, Mumu did a good job just basically preventing the engage onto this Caitlyn.
Once again, KP starting to lose priority over these objectives.
So Lissandra TP'd down. So now she's got to do the long walk to top lane. Malphite should be able to get this under tower. Perhaps we'll get a play.
Yeah, this is the first time Archangel actually has the CS advantage over Roscoe. I think does it look like the Lissandra is going for a rod too?
Yeah, those components do build into a rod. So it might just be a handshake going rod for rod.
Mansberg going in, trying to land the whole combo, does get the ultimate stolen. Unfortunately, they both walk away. But Mega Average still has his Ignite. Mansberg tried to burn it through his.
And really crucially, Mega Average has not overheated yet, which allows him to continue fighting. So the Mumu is level 6 right now, but there isn't really any objectives to go for in bot lane. Usually you want to go for that Mumu ult level 6 bot lane to try and go for transition that to a Drake. But they were able to get the Drake beforehand. Counter gank in the mid lane.
Mumu does not land his chain.
Yeah,
I called it a chain, a hook, a bandage toss. We all know what it is.
Yeah, you need to be a little bit more patient with that.
Thresh does get his Caitlyn out to safety. Mumu does clear out the pink ward. And everybody just go back to doing what you do. We all good here.
So a little bit more of a slow-paced game. Neither team feeling super confident, looks like, with going for more than just 1v1s.
Yeah, maybe it looks like it may have gotten to RK's mental a little bit. For like they had last game. They should have closed it. But they got greedy on a couple of things. They didn't do their due diligence and it ended up biting them.
Yep. That said, I think that the mid game for Kumquats is pretty huge between the Xayah, the Rumble, the Lissandra. Caitlyn, once she gets to the mid game, really tends to struggle. She needs to kind of get into that late game. She has a really huge mid game slump in her power spike.
So you know how you deal with that? You get 8
you
kills.
Buy an extra.
You get 8 kills on the Caitlyn early game, so that way she doesn't have them mid game.
Yeah. Either that or you can actually go for a second Raptor Cloak, and that has been used by a lot of challenger players to kind of temper her issues in the mid game. Or not Raptor Cloak, the Crit Cloak.
Zeal? Or Brawler?
No. The one that gives even more crit than Brawler's Glove. Builds into the... It's used for Infinity Edge.
Oh yeah, not Negatron Cloak, but we'll see it in
Cloak of Agility. Cloak of Agility. That's what it is.
So the Thresh pick, I definitely like this a lot more than the Blitzcrank. The Pike is leaving much to be desired, but that is good insight for the Thresh to try to do. Just throw the hook out, or throw the lantern out. Unfortunately, they don't have vision out there, so they don't know, oh, there's a lot of wards out here.
Yeah,
We,
so
we
they
should
they
probably
knew
clear
that nobody
this.
was there, so they good bait, but with the vision down,
But they
they
called
weren't
the
biting.
bluff. They knew.
Yep.
That's like when you're trying to play that you have pocket aces, but you have a 2 and a 3, or 2 and a
Yep.
7.
And your opponent is the one with the pocket aces.
Yeah, and it's like, are you sure about that? And actually,
So
looks like the Malphite is going for Abyssal Mask, while the Lissandra is going for that Rod of Age.
Amumu goes in.
Does get a big ultimate onto them both, but unfortunately they're not able to get anybody. Looks like Amumu might be able to. Ooh, living on sub 20 HP. The Lissandra actually canceled the Malphite's TP. What looks like through her ultimate.
Wow, that was actually really well played on the side of Kumquats.
Yeah, good job. No, they're doing, they're 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 doing what they wanted to do last game, which was get ahead early. Because the biggest threat on this team is Mansford. If you shut him down, it starts to feel like it slows down by a bit. While he did get a little bit of advantage early, Pike does land the hook onto the Thresh. Neither of the carries. Oh, the Thresh lands the hook onto the Xayah. Xayah is forced to use her ultimate.
Wow, almost every single summoner spell used in bot lane.
Malphite, you don't have mana. You cannot fight against this.
Ooh.
And here comes the Pike out of left field and does get the kill onto the Thresh. Tries to land it onto the Caitlyn, but she sidesteps just enough. Amumu now is coming down to cover her. Oh, the flash hook onto the Xayah. And now Silas is getting bamboozled onto the top lane. Does get the Sejuani. That healing is insane. But Rumble's coming in to make sure he doesn't get another kill.
That does unlock the air Drake if they want to go for it.
Yeah, Mumu and Caitlyn already starting it up. They were able to get the 2v2 kills. Malphite is now able to push away the Lissandra, and with that, we are even in Drakes, but down some gold. And with plates now having fallen, the gold is just about even. The differences are, again, in the laning phase. The junglers always scored a game, did have the advantage in CS last game as well, but then all of his lanes were behind.
Yep. And that's kind of what we're seeing as well here. I mean, it looks like top lane, there's about a 10 CS differential. Mid lane, there's almost a 30 CS differential. And then bot lane, there's about a 15 CS differential. So Thresh is mid.
Both
missing.
Both skill shots missed.
Yeah, unfortunately. Good use by the ultimate for the Rumble to try and disengage.
I apologize, I seem to have the hiccups. I'm gonna have some product placement purchase kisses. Silas does steal the Rumble ultimate, but does immediately get ulted by the Sejuani, and it looks like he may actually end up going down, because now the Xayah came in, and Rumble once again barely survives. And
yeah, Rumble survived on a sliver of health like at least 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, it's so that tells you a couple things. One, Silas is pretty good still for that healing, but Rumble did do the correct thing and went for the Morellos instead of like a Leandri's, a Rylai's. Oh, Malphite just jumps on Xayah immediately blows him up.
Wow.
This is not an AP Malphite. This is a tank Malphite that just has an Abyssal Mask.
Yeah, actually really surprising from Archangel. I thought he was going to use the ultimate defensively to get out, but instead he goes aggro and trades the 1-for-1.
Like, nah, I got this. Watch this. Aw. That would have been good if he had dashed, but unfortunately no.
Ooh,
But Thresh
misses
does
the...
get into the play. And now Lissandra went in. That is not the best idea. She does have her ultimate, or she does not have her ultimate. And now she just got all three of them killed.
Yeah, they wound up having to use the Lissandra ultimate onto the Malphite. But Rumble, coming up huge. Mega Average playing really well in this Rumble today. 3-0-3. Only person in the game with a bounty.
Alright, I'm taking notes down for Mansford. Must... If you allow Silas, Delta must play Rumble. It looks like Silas is actually going for the GLP, not the Proto Belt.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's going for right now. Because Protobelt is so kind of iconic on Silas.
Well, he does have the Ruby Crystal. Maybe he just has the Lost Chapter just for the sustain and mana.
Yeah, I really do like the Morellonomicon coming out from the Rumble. That's going to cut through the healing of Kingslayer a lot. Which is how Silas is able to win most of his duels.
And since the buff to Morello's, it's now just whenever you deal magic damage.
Yep.
Not just when you're below 50% or 40%.
So Penguins are starting up this Rift Herald.
Silas stole the Pike ultimate, and they're not able
Yeah, they
to
should be able to
collapse
secure
time.
this.
They're able to secure it, I
Looking to
believe.
steal.
Thresh looking for a pick on one of them at least. Lance does get the hook onto the Pike, and Pike is unable to get out. Rumble uses the ultimate to try to separate the fight. Malphite ulted to the backline to try to get the Xayah. The Xayah is able to walk away. And with that, it's currently at a 1-0. Kingslayer onto the Lissandra. Lissandra's trying to walk away. Everybody's trying to walk away, but Lissandra does get hooked onto the Mumu, and Silas with the Pike ultimate does get onto him and is able to get a few extra gold for their troubles. And with that, a 3-for-1 in the side of KP.
Yeah, really messy team fight, but Asu just able to basically stay safe that entire time, while Demonizer was getting constantly forced to move and not being able to get his DPS down.
By this tank by this magic resist tank Malphite. They immediately drop the Rift Herald, get the second tower, as the first one did go down bot lane.
Malphite may have overstayed, but he's being really aggro.
But they are able to escort the mountain out. Remember, everybody, that is a happy-faced mountain right there. I wish we had the pro draft, because that is one of the most adorable splash arts for a champion I have ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. So, Penguins do have all their ultimates up. They are a little bit late to the Drakes. I don't know if they're going to be able to fight it.
Yeah, but they are collapsing on it. Malphite does have his TP and his ultimate. They can try, but I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Points to win Drake.
Yeah, not worth it. Silas still wasn't there. If they were able to stall out for another 5-10 seconds, that could have been a fight they could have gone for. But you don't want to go for those fights if the Silas and the Caitlyn aren't there.
Alright, so we're taking stock into their items. The Rumble is going towards the Leandries now. Silas, he did end up going for the Proto Belt, so that's Lost Chapter was just for the mana sustain. And
So Malphite's the only point of pressure. He is getting collapsed on.
Yeah, they're kind of just not really doing anything right now. Like this is improper macro play, in my opinion. Like, you have, like, there's no reason for you to go to bottom lane now that the dragon is down. You should be starting to put your vision towards top half, which is what RK is doing. But they are able to catch out the Xayah again. Mumu's about to die
They
in
kill
the
the
tower.
tower.
Oh, he does survive, but
Ooh!
saving Private of Mumu. The Pyke doesn't get the knockup or the ultimate. Malphite coming in, charging in. Unfortunately, it's not for anything because there is nothing after that.
2 for 2 if the Malphite's able to get out.
And that is a definite worth.
Oh,
And
but
now
this
they're catching up to
Sejuani
Sejuani
got
as
out.
well. That's really well done. But it looks like Thresh goes down for his troubles, so it's still more worth it for the Thresh to have gone down than for the Sejuani. And that Kingslayer is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh, what? Okay. I didn't see where he was going. Yeah, you can see in the pings, they're like, wait, where did he go?
Yeah, so that wound up, I think, being a 3 for 4. So both these games very scrappy.
I think it was yeah, 3 down on KP, 4 on RK.
Moo coming in, trying to stall out as long as he can. He could go for the ultimate.
Oh, he
no,
did
it's not
land
quite
the
up
Q.
yet.
And the Pyke
Ooh.
ultimate double kill from the Silas. Yeah.
Well done by Mansford. That could turn into a Baron.
Yeah, that's both bottom laners gone and done. The Caitlyn still needs to run up here, but they have a lot of damage with the Silas. And
Yep.
maybe, not really. Doesn't look like it actually. Malphite may need to
One
use
is
his
here.
ult
They want to
on
go
the
for the
other
turn.
side. Malphite
Goes
tried to
over.
live, didn't have his ultimate. They're trying to make this fight happen, but they're sitting on top of that Rumble ultimate and just getting blown up with that and the Lissandra passive. So now they can go for the Baron.
Unfortunately, like Amumu was like 2 seconds off his ultimate. If he was able to get that ultimate off, they would have probably turned that fight.
Yeah, because then
But
nobody
yeah.
gets cast abilities as well. Yes.
Definite mistake, I think, sending Asu down into bot lane. Once you get into the mid game, you always want to have your AD carry around mid if possible.
Yeah, the Caitlyn, I think she was getting the red buff. No, she was just hanging around the banana bush of their red buff and just kind of went down.
Yep. This buff, the Barons go down really slow. They're gonna be very low health. Malphite goes in, winds up missing the ultimate.
Oh, the flash from the Thresh, unfortunately, is unable to get anybody. So with that,
Yeah, but that was without vision. That was with the Pyke still. Yeah, that was with Pyke still in his W.
Yeah, so four Baron buffs to the side of RK, but they are still down to Lissandra, and that passive is huge to help reset these fights. Oh, does Captain Sejuani mid-flight? She does ult the Silas to make sure that he can't get into the fight. But Thresh is a little caught off from his team. He does walk through the equalizer. But
yeah, Megan Average is doing a massive amount of work with this Rumble. Like, I'm really, really impressed with this pick.
Yeah, 9-3, has the Leandries, has the Morellos. But now this is a good game to get not a Banshee's Veil, Adaptive Helm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the Rumble and the Lissandra, definitely.
That just hurts. Oh boy. Okay, it only crit for 300. You're still fine for now, Rumble. I don't know, with that, I think that... So with that Blessing Wand, I'm pretty sure that would be a good idea for a Void Staff.
I don't think that Kumquats wants to fight this. They don't have the Rumble ultimate.
Yeah, not for another...
Or the Sejuani ultimate.
Not for another 30 seconds.
Yeah, they need to stall and wait for those ultimates to come back up. Both these teams are incredibly reliant upon their ultimates right now.
Oh, Amumu does land his hook onto the Pyke, but the redemption from the Thresh. Thank you, Thresh, for buying a redemption. Like, so many tank supports don't build it, and I don't get why. It is such a good item.
Ultimates are almost off a cooldown. This should be the go button to
Oh,
fight.
they're going. Rumble does get his ultimate onto Mansberg, and he's blown up instantly. Amumu is about to go down as well. Caitlyn is about to crash as well. Does dodge the Pike ultimate, and the Malphite is onto the backline. Flashes onto the Sandra. He may actually take her down. Very close now. Just one more auto or Q, and they're keeping her alive. Oh, so barely.
Wow.
And Pike going in to try to kill Asa, but he doesn't quite reach the hook. So with that, they are going to get it. Thresh did look for the hook just to try to like, hey, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't.
So really good job by Kumquats to stall out the Drake until their ultimates came back up. I don't think that Penguins correctly identified that some of those ultimates were still on cooldown. They should have tried to force that Drake while the ultimates were on cooldown.
Yeah, they tried to force the pick onto Pike, which, yes, is fine, but just go ahead and fight the Drake. Because they don't
it's
have
not like the Drake is
Rumble
going to do a lot of...
which was the most critical.
It's not like the Drake is going to do a lot of damage to you, like the Elder or the Baron would. Just start the Drake, force them to face check into you while you know that they don't have their ultimates.
I compliment you, and then you disappoint me, Thresh. So, I'm glad that you got the redemption. You're going for a locket, which is also equally great against this team. But then you don't pick up any pink wards. My dude, you need to pick up pinks.
Yeah, definitely a mistake. Thankfully, I don't think it's going to punish him too badly, so it's still 2 minutes till Baron shows up.
It hurts me, though. That's what matters. It hurts me. But Amumu is going for the adaptive helm.
He's alone. He's alone right now.
He's a little under the weather, I would say. The redemption does get thrown on to the corpse of the sad mummy, and now they're able to push without a huge engagement tool. They still have the Malphite, so they can get a good ultimate from him, but without that Amumu, the Xayah can keep moving and doing as she pleases.
Yeah, I think it's very ambitious to try and go for this bot inhibitor. I think mid-inner is probably the easier tower to get while you're in this 4v5.
Oh, did land the ultimates. They are trying. Malphite get the knockup onto the Pike and to the Rumble. Rumble does use the equalizer to try to separate the fight. Sandra does go down. Pike uses the ultimate on the Malphite. And with that, it's currently a 1-for-2. Down by 1. Thresh unfortunately lands his hook onto a minion, but he does land the play onto the Xayah. The Xayah gets caught up on the Amumu with the Pike. Goes down as well. Rumble, why did you flash there? You were already dead.
Yep. So yeah, this is the problem that you have is a lot of times if you try to force onto an inhibitor tower way before you actually can take the inhibitor tower, you wind up getting into these type of bad fights.
Well, so the issue with that wasn't that they were trying to force the inhibitor tower. Well, yes, they were. They were forcing it in the sense that Demonizer, the Xayah, he was trying to kill somebody under tower when they were like Thresh or something. But you're not going to kill him that easily. He has enough health and armor to not die that fast after 1 or 2 autos. So then he got played, and then he got cooked by the Amumu. So he was the cause of that fight going sour, I feel.
Yeah. Still, I think it's just super risky to try and go for a bot inhibitor when you only have the jungler down. Maybe if they've got Waif there down or something, you can go for that.
Malphite has his ultimate, Sejuani. I'm not sure why you ulted him. He's holding on to his ultimate. He uses it and kills the Pike. Still not a tank, or not an AP carry, but the choke point of the Rumble ultimate obliterates the health bars of Malphite and Thresh. Despite having the locket, it didn't matter.
That's a massive cooldown use, but they do get the 2 picks.
Amumu just charging into the Xayah. That was not a smart choice. I'm gonna say that was not a smart choice, sir.
Yeah, so definitely a bit ambitious from the Amumu. He has to realize that his carries are kind of in that choke point and can't follow him.
Oh, but Mansberg does look like he's getting the pick off from the Rumble. And he actually did. Now they're going to use the ultimate to try to separate the fight. Xayah just gets chunks by the Rumble ultimate. and Silas was able to 1v1 the Sejuani, so now he's able to just charge into the Lysandra. She has to get out of here now. But
Yeah,
I don't
so
know if she's
Mansford
able
putting
to.
on his carry pants pretty hard right now.
Yeah, now Pyke is trying to get a kill, but he wants that he wants the Caitlyn, but
Ooh.
unfortunately he has no health anymore. Especially after the nerfs that he got, he has nothing to keep him alive after that point. And once again, KP out team fighting them really well. Like, just like hard carry pants from Mansford and enough from everybody else, like pumping out the damage and tanking it up with them. They're doing pretty good.
Yeah, so it seems like the story of this right now is that if Mega Average has the Rumble ult up, Kumquats can win the team fight. But if that Rumble ultimate is down, they cannot team fight against the Silas, especially the Silas. So that's a huge cooldown that they need to be tracking at all times, is whether or not that Rumble has his ultimate up.
Yeah, so Silas recently hijacked Rumble's ultimate, so he can't take his. Oh, but Malphite's a little caught here, but everybody is right behind him. He does ultimate to get out of the way. So the Rumble did step onto a trap. He is able to get out, but now the Pyke got caught. Now they're trying to clean out. Oh, the Malphite does go down. The Pyke does try to get somebody, but it's unfortunately not able to kill anybody. And now the Zaya's even caught out too. Now the Rumble's got to run away.
Yeah, so again, the Rumble used the ultimate pretty early in the fight, and then as the fight continued, because they didn't have that damage, then Amumu and Silas were just like Bash Brothers, basically just running through everyone, and Caitlyn's able to free fire this entire time.
Oh, he's down.
Yep.
He doesn't have Zhonya's yet. He was working on it. He went for the Rylai's, which I personally do not agree is a good choice for Rumble to take. But he does him. But unfortunately, that is going to be it. Gotta wait for these last couple padding of stats, and that'll do it. KP qualifies for the Shuriman Finals against ABCD Esports.
Yeah, so really good job by KP. Mansford really put on his carry pants in that second game. I actually both mid laners were amazing. It felt
Yeah,
like
like
in that
Mansford,
second game.
like I was actually really impressed with Mega Average because he seemed like he actually had answers to what Mansford was bringing,
Mhm.
but there were just like these like one or two little missteps, and KP just rammed it down their throats.
Yeah, and Asuf was able to basically free fire the entire time. Like I don't think anybody ever got onto him. And meanwhile, Demonizer, he always had somebody on him. He was never able to free fire like an 80 carry wants to. And I think that was wound up being what the difference in game two. So yeah, congratulations to KP. They'll be placing going on to the finals.
Yeah, so KP will going into finals against ABCD Esports tonight at 8 p.m. So in less than 3 hours. Will
Yeah.
be the finals for the Shuriman division, and this will also be the first time that a tribunal member will have actually won a tournament in our league.
Yeah, you pretty much got 100%
We
chance,
have a
right?
100% chance a tribunal member will win this season.
Hmm.
Not rigged.
Not at all.
Yeah, so congratulations to KP. We as the support for ABCD Esports, I look forward to playing against them. Um, it's going to be a really close one, I feel, because we have just talking a little bit about it. We have played them before and we went 1-1. We've been scrimmed against them to prepare for playoffs, and we went even in that scrim as well. So it can be anybody's series. Um, it really comes down to, do we allow Mansford to pop off, I feel.
Yeah, it definitely seems like KP is hugely mid focused. Um, so yeah, good luck to both of you guys later tonight. It's going to be really exciting to see what happens. I would expect it to go all 5 games, so I will be watching it eagerly.
Yeah, like if it becomes a 3-0 series, I will be very disappointed, but I do believe that it'll go to a minimum of 4 games.
Hmm.
So we'll just have to see what happens. So stay tuned later tonight, everybody. I do not know who the casters exactly are. I believe ZZ Dog is going to be one of the casters. Um, I don't know who the hosts or other casters are going to be, but be on the lookout. It'll be at 8 p.m. EST. Tell your friends. All right. That'll be all for this match. Good night, everybody, and we will see you later.